Hey YouTube, how's it going? Well, stocks are through the roof today. Great day on the stock market. And Bitcoin was way up this morning. I haven't looked at it for a while. But I get a lot of questions on how I got into this kind of horsemanship, or met Buck Brannaman or Ray Hunt, so I'm gonna do Buck. And when I was 14, we had a horse that would just, shoot out of the trailer. If he heard the chain, if he heard you do the door, he would just shoot out. And if he heard it, he would bust the door down. He's bent the latches, kind of when you're halfway opened it. Just crazy. So you'd have to try to be quiet. And my dad took it to a guy, one of his team roping friends, Alex Yanez, used to be at Pretty Penny Ranch. Told him to come see Buck. Buck got the horse good. And I didn't get to see it, but my dad came back and just said, man, you got to go see this guy when you get a chance. And just went on and on and on about him. Well, that summer I got a job at Pretty Penny Ranch, which wasn't there at the time, but basically where the 101 and Cave Creek Road is. You know where that's at in Arizona. And it's really built up now. But I was working there for the summer. And we'd run the team ropings. Well, I didn't, but I was a kid and I hung out with the guys that ran the team ropings late at night, and we wouldn't start the ropings till, when it got under 100 degrees. So some ropings wouldn't start till midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Oddly enough. And there was a fella by the name of Mike Thomas. A lot of you know Mike. If not, he's passed away, but I do encourage, there's a lot of good information on Mike Thomas Horseman here on YouTube, and some talks. And Mike or the ranch or somebody somehow got me a free spot in the clinic. And that clinic had 21 colts. And I'm telling you, everyone would buck like crazy, strike you, bite you, kick you. Toughest colt starting I've ever seen anybody do in a week. And I think at the time it was 5-day clinic back then. 1 full day for starting the colts the first day. It was 1986. And there was one horse that wasn't too bad, but everyone was ranked, which I guess after starting colts in Arizona kind of makes sense compared to where I've rode colts other places in the world. Just some of the spoiled rottenness, just temper tantrumy horses. There's just not that much horsemanship in Arizona, which is kind of why I stayed for so long, to try to help others out. Just kind of who I am, really. And I wish I'd maybe gone some other places later in life, but life brought me good, and I might not have met my wife. And there's a lot of things as you go down that path and that journey that you don't realize would have never had the opportunity to. And the horsemanship had 50 some people in it. Well, I was just hooked, but it was like 115, 117 every day. We were drinking water like crazy and eating watermelon and cantaloupe. Try to keep some electrolytes. And there was a story, it's in Buck's book, but that weekend I was just in awe. And I'll share you on another video today, but I don't want to combine the two, but I'll share, it's in Buck's book, about the Pollock that I met. And that's what he wanted me to call him. But I was hooked because when I grew up in the rodeo world, we used about every gimmick device thing under the sun. And I guess horses were more tools to reach the objective. They were the object that you used, and I mean used, to get to the objective. Where when I met Buck, the horses kind of became the objective. And that peace and harmony. And I was kind of soft. I didn't like trouble much. My dad was pretty hard. Pretty angry man. And then when he did wrong, he'd apologize by making fun of you. And it hurt a lot of times. And I was pretty sensitive. And again, I had always wanted horses. Got my first one really when I was 10. I had some from my in-laws when I was like 2. But you know, and we got them for hunting and eventually into team roping. But when I saw Buck, it was more about the horse, and that's what I wanted because I liked the horse so much. And it was my freedom, my passion. And with the team roping world, you got a longer shank or more leverage or a sharper spur and more pressure, and you more made them do it. And I guess that was the cool thing, is sort of the self-help and the peace that I got through giving to the horses. Because the horses were giving me so much in return and teaching me so many life lessons. And I'm just glad at this stage. I'm trying to help as many people as I can to help the horses, and I'm blessed to have some great students and do what I love and travel the world. And a lot of times I love the horsemanship, but I probably would have left if it wasn't for some of you good people out there. So I thank you, because the type of people that are attracted, that are really trying to change their horse and themselves, because you can't change the horse if you don't change your heart, and you don't change what's on the inside. But the type of people that were attracted to that really blessed my life. Being a shy kid and afraid to say much, you'd never know it now. And I just, from the bottom of my heart, since I was that 15-year-old kid going to clinics to now, I've met some of the most incredible people that maybe we don't talk that much, but you're all still family. And in fact, some of those earlier ones, maybe even more like family, because you've stuck it out. You stuck this horsemanship out, and you haven't gone the trend. And the world's going to try to change you, just like anything else. It's going to try to have you seeking fame and fortune and gratification. But that horse is always going to be the mirror. He tells the truth every day, wherever you're at, good or bad. Some days are good. Some days I look at that mirror and I really like what I see. And other days it's pretty hard to swallow. But I'm doing better, and I'm getting better. And it's easier to see from the outside. But after that clinic, I bugged Buck, and luckily my mom never met him. She found it pretty hard. My parents were divorced, and my dad talked her into letting me go up with this stranger to Montana for a couple weeks. And Buck was still married to his first wife, Adrian, before she got in her horse wreck and in a coma. And then her dad tore him apart. But I went up there, and I just remember getting to ride so many horses, and rode in a clinic up there. I'd come in for dinner and see Buck, this big barn. I'd see Buck's head just kind of popping up in the window. I'd run out to the arena, see what he's riding. That was back in the days before he did too many clinics, and he's riding like 20 colts a day. So he'd be riding clear into 9 at night. And yeah, that dedication back when I was younger, gave me that same thing where a lot of nights I was riding late into the night and just trying to get as many horses rode as I could, and just very blessed. Been through a lot of ups and a lot of downs with Buck and with a lot of you people, and lost some loved ones. And yeah, some of the highlights of my life are with the horses and around the clinics, and some of the lowest things are kind of probably around the clinics too. Some injuries. But anyways, that just kind of gives you the brief overview. And I know there's a lot of other people out there, but I'd watch other people as I left working for Buck in my 20s. Worked for him for a few years, and I'd go watch other people, and it's just, I'm so grateful I got lucky and met Buck when I did. And yeah, before he had kids, and I don't know, he was, like I've said before, my dad would tell you he was more of a father figure to me, and probably did more to raise me than my dad did in a lot of ways. And I know my dad was grateful of that. He said that towards the end of time, and he said it more than once to more than one person, and that's hard. I always admired my dad for at least admitting that and seeing his hard ways. I'm glad he had softened some and found Christ a little more, because at the end of the day he had that heart change and would work at it. Got to go down the road with us for a couple years before his cancer took over, and he'd spend a bunch of time traveling with us. So anyways, yeah, sorry for the edge of tears, but it's a lot of memories dug up there. So that's kind of how I met Buck Brannaman here, Pretty Penny Ranch in Arizona in 1985, in the super hot heat. Boy, we were tougher back then. Now I'm whining, it's like 95 out and I gotta hike. But I'm a little older. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. If you did, let me know in the comments. I know a lot of you aren't subscribed, and I look forward to hearing your comments. I really do this, again, for the people, and you're the people. So, you the people, enjoy the journey. Happy trails.